put it in real terms for you. Towards the end of 2012, beginning of 2013, we had probably some of the most violent times here in Oakland.
Well, I try to stay away from words like war on drugs and epidemic, the words we've heard for decades when describing this problem with prescription drug abuse. But when you talk about the number of deaths that occur nationally and here in the Bay Area, there's really no other way to describe it other than an epidemic.
Anybody is susceptible to this lifestyle. It doesn't matter how much you love your family. It doesn't matter how great you are at the things that you do or how passionate you are about getting your dreams. When you start using drugs and you allow them to become your life, no matter who you are, they will destroy every last piece of you, your soul, and all the people that you love.
So Oakland got its own thing. We always been big. Any type of drug, man, from pills to heroin to powder cocaine to crack to marijuana. That's all at our disposal out here. But a lot of times, it's it's popularized by the culture, media, music, a lot of rappers, singers, people who really respect it and that people look up to use the substance.
My story is similar to many youth here in Oakland. I've had friends, family members, myself, that have been around and involved in drug activity coming up as a youth. But I took that as a very serious thing in regards to my policing because it gave me a different perspective. It gave me a perspective that not all people who are using drugs or selling drugs are bad people, but the one common denominators are drugs destroy people's lives. Whether you're selling the drugs, whether you're using the drugs, it's a domino effect that only affects those two people, but affects many other people.
Well, I did it just because I did it. Well, I did it. I do it, probably still do it. But, a lot of people shouldn't do it. One time, I was with my friends, and they had, 2 jugs, and they mixed it with, Fanta and the lean or whatever, right? So then one had pills in it, and one did it. And then I started tripping out when we got to the restaurant and falling and stuff. It was, worse than being drunk.
The most abused prescription drugs in Oakland, of course, would be oxycodone, hydrocodone, and methadone. One of the drugs of particular concern is promethazine with codeine. And we're seeing this drug being widely abused with students as young as middle school aged.
And I've seen that firsthand, and that's a story that needs to get out there because, one, I don't think people really realize as a community how prevalent it is, and two, the youth who are using it, I don't think they realize how dangerous and addictive it is.
Only once the drugs are done, do I feel like dying, I feel like dying.
C3.
Only once the drugs are done, do I feel like dying, I feel like dying.
It's not that I don't think you're necessarily looking up to an artist because they're sipping bow or lean or whatever you call it, because they sipping. It's more like the art. They're already paying attention to the artist, and then the artist picks up the cup. It's not like the youth look at the artist and say, we don't know who this artist is, but he's sipping both, so that's what we following. It's more about the ones who are already popularized, and then once they're already known, they popularize the lean and the bow, and then that's what make everybody follow suit.
My experiences with prescription drugs go back to me being diagnosed with ADHD when I was in the 8th grade. So I was taking ADHD medicine because I was presumed as somebody who could not sit down in a seat for an hour and 30 minutes. And I feel like it almost made me kind of prone to deviant behavior because it was like I was trying to capture the old personality because I was so, dependent on the personality that was being created through the medication. It has everything to do with the culture of pill popping, because when you're taking pills that somebody tells you to take that you don't really want to take, when somebody gives you a pill that you might think is cool or might, not have a problem with taking, you'll be more prone to take it because you've already been conditioned to take pills and to pop pills.
I know for myself I was prescribed Xanax, not because I had anxiety or depression, but because I knew that they were valuable. went to a doctor whom I had been told prescribes to people. All you have to do is go in there and tell them that you have anxiety, and they'll give you prescription drugs, which I would either sell or trade or barter.
Some of these doctors aren't even seeing the patients. And when they do see the patients, there's usually a cursory exam, or oftentimes there's no exam, and they're writing prescriptions for very strong opioid pain medications, such as oxycodone and hydrocodone. These pills are sold, and they get into the wrong hands, and many times those wrong hands are young hands.
The decisions they were making in search of finding money to buy the codeine, in search of robbing each other to try to get the codeine, and while they're under the influence of that codeine, the level of violence they brought was unbelievable.
People walking around killing each other, people not in their right minds. That's probably why most of the violence go on, because people not in their right mind. Once they get off them drugs, it's like you can't function right. When you think about something, you probably really own it. Like after that, it's over. If the youth are our future and the youth are on drugs, then we have no future.
I think the number one issue that the inner city is being faced with in Oakland is the lack of organization, being able to organize around any type of concept that promotes independence, not necessarily independence from your community, but independence from, social forces that exploit you. If we organize our community, then we can, have some type of authority on what we will be letting in our community and what we'll be pushing out. So it's a solution, it's organizing, and it always has been.
Once people start taking initiative on their own to talk to the youth instead of being like, that's somebody else's problem. You know what I'm saying? When you can walk up to a youth and say, boy, I knock you upside your head, man, what is you out here doing, man? You know what I'm saying? When you can walk up to them and say stuff like that, when you build those relationships with the youth, then they want to hear what you got to say. And then you got to walk that same path that you want them to walk. And if you don't walk that same path, give them the ins and outs of that. And teach them like how you'll teach your child. Teach them how you want somebody to teach you. We'll have a better America. We'll have a better Oakland tomorrow if we can start today. You know what I'm saying? Real talk.